Now, brother, you and I weren't but a gleam in our granddad's eyes when Annie Bowen and Mary Geary went sailing the seas. Annie Bowen and Mary Geary were sailing the seas. From the west of Ireland, Mary came, where we talk about your blue eyes crying for rain. There's a new life for you in America, so trade your Galway for Casco Bay. And you know she spoke the Irish tongue, but she would not teach it to her young. She said, you know that you're an American child, still I'll fill your heart with Irish pride. And brother, you and I were but a gleam in our granddad's eyes when Annie Bowen and Mary Geary were sailing the seas. Annie Bowen and Mary Geary were sailing the seas. Well, Annie came from the county Cork, and her husband, he fought fires for work. Munjo Hill's a place where they did go, with about a dozen kids or so. The cathedral cross loomed high above this East End home so filled with love. It's a long, long way from old Ireland to this strange new motherland. And brother, you and I were but a gleam in our granddad's eyes when Annie Bowen and Mary Geary were sailing the seas. Annie Bowen and Mary Geary were sailing the seas. Well, my mother's uncles used to bootleg down in Gorham's Corner, and I sure would love to taste that hooch right now. And sometimes I can swear that I can almost see their ghosts as I walk the streets of this old town. It's an Irish immigration tune, a song to sing beneath the moon. It's a song I just can't keep inside, passed down from my mother's pride. And brother, you and I were but a gleam in our granddad's eyes when Annie Bowen and Mary Geary were sailing the seas. Annie Bowen and Mary Geary were sailing the seas. And brother, you and I were but a gleam in our granddad's eyes when Annie Bowen and Mary Geary were sailing the seas. Annie Bowen and Mary Geary were sailing, 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 sailing the seas.